Hello there everyone, it is TIJ Gang and welcome back to the Tour de France 2020 Pro Team Career Mode. Today is time for episode 8 of Season 3 and today we will participate in the Vlaanderen Classic. But before we do that, let's have a look at what happened in the last episode and the culmination of the last few episodes in the Paris-Nice. And it was good news, we did really well in Paris-Nice in the end. In that last stage, which was a real leg breaker, Van Baarle was fantastic, ending up third place in the stage. But in terms of the general classification, we ended up 14th. That wasn't too much of a disappointment because we knew from fairly early on that we weren't going to do too well. But we won the best climber classification and the points classification, both with Dylan Van Baarle. And we also won the compatibility classification with Van Baarle as well. So it was a real Van Baarle special in the last tour. And that's why Van Baarle has picked up 85 pro cycling ranking points and he moves to the top of the individual points. Because of his contribution of 168 points and some points from Gegenhardt, Medus, etc., we lead the pro cycling rankings with 330 points. Now, if you're going to enjoy today's video, remember, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for future Tour de France videos on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, etc., etc. And now that stupid promos out of the way, let's talk about the next event. Now, we've got the Vlaanderen Classic and Paris-Roubaix coming in the next two episodes, and to be quite honest, with these two being cobblestone stages, I don't really see too much success here. So I've got a feeling that we're going to try and rest some of our best guys, the likes of Medus, the likes of Gegenhardt. There is no point in these guys exerting themselves too much, and maybe giving some of our younger guys a chance. So I'll pick our team off camera and have a look for a few minutes, and then when we start the stage, I'll let you know who we've picked and why. Okay, so this is the 7 we've gone for. You'll notice the likes of Medus, the likes of Ben Swift are out of the team. But Van Baarle stays, and you might think, well, hang on a minute, he's just said he's going to rest some of his best guys, and Van Baarle was the best man in the last tour, surely. But yes, he was. But if you look, his cobblestone rating is 74. So if we're going to have any hope, we might as well give ourselves some sort of chance of doing something here. You can see the rest of them, apart from Jacobs, are all below 70 in the cobblestone ratings. But obviously, you know, there's 5 other riders which we can substitute for the next one, and that of course is the Paris-Roubaix. So we'll listen to the sports director and let's see what he's got to say.
Hi guys, welcome to this Vlaanderen Classic briefing. As usual, you'll be on narrow roads, you'll climb steep cobblestone hills, and you'll fight for a place as best you can. We don't have what it takes to play a leading role, but I'm counting on you to show the jersey by getting into the early breakaway. Afterwards, you never know what might happen. I'm counting on you. We don't give up, and we give it our all right to the end.
That's fair. You can't argue with that. You really can't argue with that. Absolutely fantastic motivational speech, Churchill-esque from the sports director there. But I don't really hold too much hope we're going to do too much here. But you simply never know. We're probably just going to do this stage today. Obviously, it's the only stage in the Vlaanderen Classic. So, yeah, I'll see you guys at the start of the stage. I'm looking forward to this, something a little bit different. But as a viewer, don't expect too much in terms of victory today.
Hello and welcome to all. Welcome to the start of one of the monuments of the cycling season, the Vlaanderen Classic. It's a race for true specialists, with its narrow roads, cobblestone hills and never-ending changes of direction. This Belgian Classic only crowns a highly talented rider.
Well, that's not very good news for us then, is it? We're focusing on our debutant first off. We're focusing on Jacobs because he is the second best rider in our team on cobblestone. And it seems a bit pointless to go for it with Van Baarle if we've got someone else that we can experiment with, particularly given we haven't really got too much of a chance of doing anything here. Affini seems to be joining us here. I've got no problem with that, but it's a bit different to others in terms of other tours in that there's no points classification, no mountains classification, nothing like that. We've just purely got a sprint, if you like. Yeah, not necessarily a sprint, but it probably would be a sprint in the end. Galloping's already been distance at the back. I don't quite know what that is. That seems a bit bizarre. But there's 7 of us in this little breakaway. We're setting a good pace to start off with, just to try and make sure this breakaway does indeed work. We've got ourselves and Affini and some other guys in here as well. So, again, we're going to keep up this pace. But it looks like, until the first cobblestone sector, it's not really too much of an issue. But 263 kilometres. It's going to be a long one. I don't know how many highlights there will be, because I'm going to have to structure this one a little bit differently to usual, given that there's no climbs, no points opportunities. But we'll go with the flow. Galloping's obviously had a nap at the back. He's one opponent that we know he's not going to beat us today, at least. Well, there's two separate groups at the moment. There's the three of us at the head of the race, as you can see. Claes van Genechten, I don't know. And Jacobs, that's by far the easiest of the three names to say, no doubt. But there's a breakaway just behind. There's a little group of the likes of Affini and the guys that were there before, really. So I think I'm going to go on board with Affini, try and get him to catch up to this lead group. I mean, they're not that far behind, to be quite honest, so we might all catch up to this front group. We don't use all our put my teeth back in, all of our energy too quickly off the blocks. But if we can get a good breakaway, then I don't think it will hurt us so much in those cobblestone sections. We'll have to have a look, but put a bit of pace in just to catch up to this group. Again, no pain, no gain, as they say. There we go. We've caught up, and we're just going to simulate a little now. There we go. All 10 guys have caught up. Just tell these two to follow any attacks. But yeah, I think until we've got the cobblestone sections, really, there's not really going to be too much going on. There's a really big breakaway here now. There's 13 guys in this breakaway. Feeney's starting to struggle a little bit, so I'm just going to tell him to just persist a little bit smoother. Try not to be too damaging. But here's the first cobblestone section of the day. Jacobs should be alright because he's near the front, but I'm just going to keep an eye on Affini to make sure he's okay. I think that these cobblestone sections are actually a lot easier while you're in a breakaway because you don't get held up by the guys in front. As you can see, that wasn't really too much of an issue. So I'm happy with that. I just want to make sure that this group doesn't get away. But there's two sections, that's why, no wonder. As you can see, the pace isn't too high though, so we're not damaging ourselves too much. Just check that Jacobs is there. Yep, he's absolutely fine. Nice to have some refreshing new names with jersey on the back. I know Affini has been a few times, but to be fair, he's not really done all that well. So I'm hoping he can do well today. It'd be nice if we could find his specialty. Speciality, not specialty. Speciality. But that looks okay to me. The guys in the peloton, I mean, Van Baal's a little bit behind, but again, they probably just entered that cobblestone section. So I'd take that over a pinch of salt. But yeah, that first cobblestone section's done, and well, it wasn't too bad, so that's okay. It looks like the peloton's starting to catch up. Only 30 seconds now between this lead group and the peloton. But we've got a feed coming up fairly soon, so we might as well utilise that, especially with Affini. Get all the guys in the peloton to take that feed. Jacobs doesn't really need it, so no point him having it. And all the red bars are full, so we might as well use it if we need to at the last minute. But both of our guys just following at the moment. Told them to work with opponents, and although we've told Affini to follow and not override, I'm just a little bit worried about that little group there that's trying to get away. Because the peloton's starting to catch up now, so yeah, that first feed zone is there, which is all good. Might as well get these guys just to take their red gels for the sake of it. Ain't going to hurt. But because there's these two that are leading, I just want to up the pace a little bit just to try and A, hold off the peloton, and B, try and secure a bit more of a breakaway. I think that Jacobs is the best rider to try and get a breakaway with, rather than Affini. As you can see, the peloton has caught up now, so they might get a bit upset, these two, that we're setting a good pace, because we are going to catch them, I think. We don't want to set too good a pace, because again, we might start to struggle, but it looks like the peloton has certainly caught back up. So again, we're just going to tell everybody in the peloton to ensure a minimum tempo. For some reason, did Jacobs not take any of his feed at all? I'm just checking. I'd say I don't want to get to the feed zone and then go, oh, we've took all of our feed. But I think the feed zone is there as that line comes up there. So just want to take all of our red gel if we can.
30 seconds lead for the head of the race.
Do we get that? Yes, we get more gel now. So it was well worth taking the red gel. Blue gel just weren't quick enough. But yeah, it looks like the head of the race now has now got a lead again. The peloton decided not to persist, which is a little bit strange after it took so much for them to catch up. But I'm going to try and get with this main group. But this is, again, a bit of a different type of stage. It's definitely the second half where it will get more interesting here, as you can see, with a hell of a lot more cobblestone sections. But Jacobs is at a rating of 70, he's certainly a competent rider on the cobbles. And given that he's a versatile rider, who knows, he might be a surprise competitor. But again, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be too sure, but we'll have to see. So here's the first climb of the day. Unfortunately, no climbing points, yeah, it's a 2,200 metre climb, which is 2.2 kilometres in new money. What's it in miles? Come on, let me think about it. 0.5 to oh dear, he's starting to struggle. So it would be 2.2, it's about 1.6, I think, about 1.6 mile. That's about right, because it's 0.5 to 0.8, isn't it? So, yeah. It's not quite going to be 1.5, because that'll be 2.4. As you can see, the guys at the front are just getting away. We can't do anything about it. We're putting in some really good pace, but those 4 guys are getting away. So there's nothing we can do about that. Have we got, yeah, we've got these guys behind us, but they're a bit too far behind, if anything. The 2 up here starting to struggle a bit. Wouldn't mind a bit of a helping hand. But we are starting to struggle a little bit now with Jacobs. Not really much we can do about it. We can take a bit of our feed, but I just worry, of course, we've not got much more to take. But luckily that horrible zone is over. We've just lost a hell of a lot of ground, though, haven't we, to the leaders.
A teammate is beginning to lose touch.
Maida's starting to lose touch again. I'm not too fussed, really, about that. But I think that climb has just proved to me that, realistically, we're not going to compete for anything here. But it's 100 points for the victory. I'm guessing that there's got to be some sort of points for second, third, etc, etc. Else, what the hell's the point of anybody else bothering? But I'm sure we'll find out at the end. Again, I don't expect to get anything out of this, but I suppose it's a learning curve, if not anything else. It's amazing, isn't it, looking at it, that this far to the end, 138 kilometres to go. I don't know if you just saw it, but those 2 guys were really starting to struggle already. I mean, that's what shows that this is a really tough race. And only the best of the best will get something out of this. Bit deceiving, though, this, because if you didn't have the arrows, you could very easily go the wrong way. Particularly if you were the one guy up in front. But we're in that third group now. We've actually made up quite a bit of ground to the lead, which is good news. Looking at the guys behind, they're all in the peloton. They did start to lose a little bit of pace, some of them. So the likes of Lawless, I gave some feed, but they're all nicely cooped up inside that peloton. So, okay, it's all right for now. But, again, I'm expecting it not to necessarily stay like that for the entirety of the stage. So here's the second climb. I think there's 3 climbs to do. So once we've done this one, there's only 1 more to go after this. But we've got a good amount of energy now. And that lead group seems to have slowed down. So it's not too bad. End of the day, these guys aren't setting too much pace, then we've got a chance. And to be fair, with the peloton being that far back, who knows? We might have a shout. We might have a shout here with Jake. It's just all about trying to use our energy in the best way possible. That climb's done, and to be honest, that was absolutely fine. So, more than happy with that. Seems a bit cheeky using the aerodynamic position at like a -3% gradient, but oh well. But no, we're looking good. We can definitely regain some energy because these guys at the front aren't really using too much. And no, this is good. We're just going to tell him to follow and not overtire. Don't really care about working with our opponents too much. Given there's 8 of us, there's not that much responsibility though, is there really, to do all that much? But again, another climb. I'm just gonna fast forward this one unless anything happens that's special. Don't think so. It's all looking okay. As long as we can stay with this group, we don't really have to lead. And as you can see, as we're following, not setting the pace, then we just managed to get that bit more energy back, and that's going to be crucial in this one. Just take a bit of aerodynamic energy. Another one! 650 metres now. Oh, it's straight onto a cobblestone sector after this. Lucky that we built up some good energy then, isn't it? And what I had realised just is that there was actually 2 feed zones in this race, so it's not as bad as I previously thought. I mean, it's a real tough stage this, but yeah, we got the cobblestone section now. Again, as long as we don't get booted out the way, we should be alright. And I think we're okay for the moment. Best place to be, as I understand it, is near the front. That's exactly where we are. So we've placed ourselves well here. And as long as we don't blow up on these sections, we can always recover after them. Unless there's one after another. But again, it's not all that bad. So we're more than halfway into this now. Another cobblestone sector tackled successfully. And there's 8 of us in this breakaway. Not many guys that I recognise, but that's probably because these are all cobblestone specialists. So we're probably mixing it with the best of the best here. Well, we've done 1 or 2 cobblestone sections and a few hills. And again, we're staying there. The pace isn't that large, I appreciate that. I mean, those guys are starting to put in a bit more pace now, so it might be a good idea just to catch them up. That all happened in a blink of an eye, didn't it? Very bizarre. That's how quickly you can lose ground. And it would have been nice to have kept with them, because we wouldn't have to put in this amount of energy to get back with them. Should be okay, though, now. Yep, absolutely fine. But again, we're just going to tell him to work with opponents, but follow, don't overtire. But if the time comes, then we're going to have to put a bit more pace in. But for the moment, we'll just happily sit at the back of this group. Well, apparently this section here that we're now on to could decide the race. Well, possibly could do. Can't see it, but you never know. It's 1,075 metres. We're struggling to keep up here. Which just confirms we aren't one of the best on cobble, but it's okay, I think. Again, it's only 1,000 metres, so the struggle should be over soonish. But we're putting loads of pace in here, and it doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like it. It's at the top of the climb. It's okay, as long as we're at the top now. Right, let's come down it and get some energy back. Yeah, don't worry about that. Well, that has split the group slightly. So, 20 or so kilometres without any hills or classified cobblestone sections, which is a positive. Get some red energy back now by taking some of our feed, which we will do. But, again, we'll just try and catch back up to these guys. Just ride hard, give it our all. We've got a bit of feed to try and get back with them. Can see the guys behind us starting to struggle, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. But, yeah, it's a group of 7 at the front now, so things have stabilised. Just need to put a bit of pace in, really, to catch back up. But all should be fine. So, as you can see, we've just passed the final feed zone with the guys at the front. And not much has changed, to be quite honest. This peloton is starting to catch up. A peloton of 53, which includes all of our guys apart from McClay. So, that's a real positive that, you know, we're in and around there. But Bierge, Affini, Marder starting to struggle. Lawless doing pretty decently, and Van Baal as well, as you'd expect. But Jacobs as well, holding his own at the front, so this is pretty good. But as you can see, here comes the first climb for a little while. And now we're going to have to do this last 70 kilometres with the 1 feed. So that's going to be quite crucial. Don't want to set too much pace here, but again, don't want to fall off like we did last time, because we had to set a good amount of pace to keep up with the guys. So just trying to regulate the pace as much as we can, just see what everybody else is going to do and what they're planning to do here. Up the pace slightly. A lot of zones in this last 60 odd kilometres, but I think from where that car's going, looks like the worst of the climbs has gone. Yeah, I don't think McClay's really going to do too much now, to be frank. But yeah, all fine on that climb. Got a bit of a descent now to take advantage of. Then we just put some pace in. A little bit of pace. And then that's our work at the front done. We're just going to follow and not overtire at this point, which our opponents won't help us out at the end of the race, but end of the day, I think this is the real only way for someone who's not that good in the cobbles to stay at the front. So now time for another hill, and as you can see, just as that happens, there's a big group that's caught up to us now. Just need to make sure that we don't get caught napping as such here. What that does confirm, though, that this amount of guys has caught up, that clearly the peloton isn't going to catch up. You know, the peloton is a group that isn't going to be able to catch up. But as predicted here, I'm not too surprised. We've been caught up, and as you can see, we're really starting to struggle now. Luckily, we get to the top of this climb. But yeah, that's a huge blow to have gone that far behind, 30 odd seconds back. that group of 20 is very nearly now the peloton. But, yeah, I don't really hold too much hope that we're going to do too much now. Just all happened in the blink of an eye, and I think we did as much as we could, to be honest. But you know, we're going to try and keep a decent pace. We've got Van Baarle only 15 seconds behind us. The rest of the guys are out of it, but I think we're just going to tell them to follow and not overtire for the rest of the race, to be honest. Just, to be honest, I'm just going to tell them not to persist at this point. The three guys at the back, anyway. You know, there's no point in them burning themselves out because they've got nothing to play for as such. So, again, they might as well just chill at the back. Take it easy to the finish, exactly. Another hill. Oh, God. This doesn't bode well whatsoever. It really doesn't. We're just going to have to use as little energy as possible here. And just hope everybody else doesn't. But as you can see, they are. I mean, at this pace, we're doing sort of 6 kilometres an hour. Is that Van Baarle? Yes, it is. Hello. I haven't seen him for the whole race. How are you doing, my son? How are you? So I suppose, really, now, it's time to switch to Van Baarle. Because he's our main hope. Probably get Jacobs to protect him. But, yeah, Van Baarle's our only really hope. But, again, you know, we're a minute and a half behind. I can't see much happening. So, I think now, because we're not going to do anything here, unless anything really exciting happens, I'll see you guys near to the finish of the stage. Well, here we come then for the final few kilometres of this race. Jacobs has actually ended up being our lead rider, surprisingly. We've got Lawless and Van Baarle in that peloton group now of 10. But the leaders have already finished, so end of the day we haven't got so much to fight for here. But yeah, we end up 70th maximum, it looks like, here with our lead rider. Which isn't much of a surprise. We had our day in the breakaway and it was exciting, but again, we're just not suited to these events. So I think that we might, because the next event is the Paris-Roubaix. We've got Liège-Bastogne-Liège, which is a hilly stage, and I've got no problem doing that, because we've certainly got a chance of doing something in that. Might as well just tell Van Baarle in particular not to persist now. Just want to make sure we can preserve any energy, and Van Baarle certainly won't be picked for the next one. And to be brutally honest, I wouldn't mind withdrawing from that next Paris-Roubaix, because we haven't really got a chance, but it would be unsported to do so, and I don't think there's an option within the game to do so. But I think we'll just do a quick stage of that, and I'll probably update you guys what happens with that at the end of this video. But we finished 72nd with Jacobs. Again, we didn't really have any hope that we'd do anything today. Bit of a learning curve, but as you guys really predicted, and as I predicted as well, it's really just going to be one of those that it was a learning curve, and we're far more suited to the mountain stages and hill stages, etc. But fair dues to the cobblestone specialists, and we'll find out fairly soon who pockets the 100 points for the Pro Cycling Rankings. So the winner of the first Flanders Classic of the season, I don't actually know who it is. Kung. Okay, never heard of him. Great. And that's it. That's all we get on the podium. I don't even think I'm going to listen to the... that was worth it then. That was worth doing. 15 gamer score. And the sports director's that peed off, obviously, that he's got absolutely nothing to say. But, again, a learning curve, really. Yeah, there was points for the top 10 there, but we haven't got really a chance, to be quite honest. So we've got Paris-Roubaix coming up next again. I think I'll do that now, to be honest, before the end of the episode. Yeah, we'll simulate it. We'll alter our team there before the start. We want to get Van Baarle out of there. We'll put Marder back in there. Ben Swift, put Gidic in. It feels horrible to sacrifice these guys. I think Lawless is probably one of our good riders as well, so Meduas is going to have to do a shift at some point, but yeah, I'll keep it like that. I'm happy about that. Meduas was in there, I think. But let's have a look who wins it. Peter Sagan wins it. And, well, as predicted, to be honest, none of our guys do anything special. 98th again for Jacobs. And we actually moved down second in the Pro Cycling Rankings, but oh well. So in the next video, again, there was no point doing Paris-Roubaix because we hadn't really got a snowballs of a chance. But in the next video, we will do Liège-Bastogne-Liège. I'll pick my lineup for that one stage, and hopefully we can do something in it. I'm quite excited. A bit of a hilly stage, something a little bit different, and actually a one-stage thing that we can actually compete in. But after that, we've got the Brage Cup, which we'll, again, probably do in one episode. the Criterium de Dauphiné, which I'm really looking forward to, and then of course the big one, the Tour de France. So plenty of excitement coming up, and if you enjoyed that one, a little bit different I know, but no success, not too surprising though. Make sure to leave a like down below if you did. Comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video on Tuesday. Goodbye for now.